Well, there was a stunning admission by Democratic lawmaker Adam Smith during his CNN interview, and it's something that, as a progressive, I've known about. I think most progressives have known about this, but it's entirely different to hear it stated so clearly from a Democrat. Let's watch.
Let's remember what happened in 2020. Okay, the president did not run a great primary campaign. He lost badly in Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada. He came out of Nevada and Bernie Sanders looked like the presumptive nominee. And this exact same group of people,
the elites,
that the president is now deriding as elites. And by the way, they're not. They're Democrats, okay? They're party operatives, they're donors, they're volunteers, decided, and to all the Bernie supporters out there, I'm not judging this positively or negatively, they decided they didn't want Bernie Sanders to be the nominee. They decided that Joe Biden would be the better nominee, and credit again to the president. He decided that because he did 8 years as vice president. He did the years in the Senate. He had the record to be a strong president. And so they, through their support behind Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg and Elizabeth Warren and Mike Bloomberg and Amy Klobuchar, and I may be forgetting a few others, stepped aside.
Thus allowing Biden to take the nomination back in 2020. Understand what he just confessed to there. That in order to stop Bernie Sanders from winning the Democratic nomination, which he was poised to do, he was performing really well while Biden was performing poorly. Democrats got together, hatched this plot, and helped Biden beat Bernie just to ensure that Bernie would never see the day as United States president, which sounds pretty, I don't know, undemocratic.
So guys, I think this is an incredible piece of tape, and I love that he accidentally admitted it just because of the moment, and also because they feel so comfortable they could just say things like this out loud and think that there's. Remember that the whole time we've been talking about primaries, 2016, 2020, when we say rigged, we don't mean it like the MAGA guys. We don't mean like they fixed the votes or whatever. We just say the DNC cheats on behalf of the corporate candidate, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. And how do they do that? They did a money laundering scheme that was exposed in 2016 where they route the big donor money through the states. They do the less debates, etc. But here in 2020, Adam Smith and Jake Tapper, if you notice, agreeing, just flat out saying, oh yeah, the elites, including the donors, he said the donors, got together and decided they don't want Bernie Sanders, it's bad for business. Instead, they want Joe Biden because he's the corporate establishment candidate.
Right.
So all the things that we had told you about how the elites decided that election by getting all the, and why did Buttigieg and Klobuchar and all those guys go along with it? So it seemed like there was consensus because they also get money from those same donors. And they also get either positive or negative press depending on what Democratic leadership says. So did they work together to rig the election? Not in the voting, but in the context of the election to make sure Bernie didn't win? Well, you just heard it from with your own ears. Adam Smith is a conservative establishment Democrat. He's one of the guys who works with Big Pharma the most. He's just flat out admitting it.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team. I just want this to sink in. The party that pretends to want to protect democracy the most, and I mean pretends as deeply as that word can mean, right? Like, they don't actually care about democracy at all. Everyone is so hyper-focused on the general election, which is why Democrats have gotten away with their undemocratic behavior during the primaries. But if you pay attention to the primaries, you'll see how undemocratic the Democratic establishment really is, okay? You'll see what they'll do to destroy the chances of someone who seems to be favored by Democratic voters, and that's what they did to Bernie, okay? You'll see what they'll do in order to support the incumbent and prevent a primary from happening to challenge him, even if the incumbent, Joe Biden, is showing signs of significant mental decline that they have provided cover for and concealed from the American people for many years now. It's just, how are they gonna go around talking about how they're protectors and warriors on behalf of our democratic process, when in reality, they despise our democratic process and engage. The only reason why they've gotten away with it, by the way, is what I mentioned earlier. People are more focused on the general election when the primaries are actually incredibly important. But also, look, when Republicans say that the mainstream media is liberal media, they're not lying. It is liberal media. It's liberal media in that they've been providing cover for the Democratic Party and the disgusting games that the Democratic Party plays when it comes to the primary elections.
Yeah, but let's be clear, because a lot of people don't understand the word liberal because it's used in so many different ways now. What Anna's referring to is basically neoliberals. So these are the establishment Democrats.
I'm referring to people in cable news and in network news that are hardcore Democratic establishment fans. Yeah. And they will do anything to protect the Democratic establishment. Even as they engage in undemocratic behavior, they will provide cover for that while pointing fingers at the other party for engaging in undemocratic behavior. And look, to be sure, what Trump and his cronies did with the fake electors plot was wrong, and he should suffer consequences for that, which may never come, because if Biden is not elected, okay, if Trump is elected, those cases go away. They just do. We all know it.
Yeah. So the Democratic establishment, by the way, the media used to be in favor of both the Democratic and the Republican establishment, but Trump took over the Republican Party. So now that's why they're mainly just corporate Democrats. Now, if there's a couple of corporate Republicans left, they still love them and will praise them and tell you what a moderate they are, et cetera, et cetera. Like Mitt Romney, oh my God, Liz Cheney, huge fans of those guys. They voted for the Iraq War or supported it, wanted to cut your health care. They don't care, they don't care. They're for the donor class. But mainly, I wanna ask you guys something. So if you were in those primaries and you voted for Biden and Hillary Clinton instead of Bernie Sanders, and you heard people saying to you, oh, no, the elites aren't deciding anything, you guys are. No, the idea that mainstream media and all the donors are on Hillary's side or Joe's side, that's just conspiracy theories, that's crazy. Well, you just saw it with your own eyes now. So who was telling you the truth and who was lying to you earlier? And you notice one other phrase that Adam Smith used. He said at that point, Bernie Sanders was basically the presumptive nominee. Now, did Adam Smith or any of those other guys or Jake Tapper ever call Bernie Sanders the presumptive nominee? No. They said, oh, it's no big deal. I mean, it was basically a tie in a couple of those states. And Nevada doesn't really count. I mean, it's so small and he's already doing better with Latinos. It's not a big deal. The only thing that matters is South Carolina, because that's where the African Americans are. If you count any of the other 3 states as you're borderline racist, because the only thing that matters is South Carolina. The fact that he won those 3 doesn't mean anything. He's not the presumptive nominee, right? Now, all of a sudden, in hindsight, they're like, yeah, of course we were lying to you. He was the presumptive nominee until the donors and the elites got together and decided to torpedo him and put Joe Biden into place. That's why when Joe Biden now says, oh, the elites are against me. Here, you got to give a tip of the hat to Adam Smith for telling you the truth at this late date, saying, brother, the elites put you in there. So now all of a sudden you're against the elites?
Who's the top elite?
You're nothing without the elites. You're just a puppet of the elites.
Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, one of the biggest cheerleaders for Biden, even now, is Jeffrey Katzenberg. Okay, incredibly wealthy donor to Biden. He's part of the elite, and he's gonna argue that the elite is against him, that the elite is demanding that he get out of the race. Could it be that the people who want you out of the race are those who are actually concerned that you're gonna lose to Trump? I mean, it's just delusional. It's absolutely delusional. I don't know what's left with the Democratic Party at this point. What's left? They don't respect their voters. They don't respect the primary process and engage in undemocratic, disgusting, dirty tricks. Okay, they pretend like they care about the common man. They care about blue collar workers. When in reality, they'll do a little bit of policy around the edges, which usually involves public corporate partnerships that funnel taxpayer money to corporations who squander it on nonsense. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with the lies. I'm fed up with them literally doing nothing but engage in fear mongering in order to pressure people to vote for them. At some point, we got to stop feeding into their BS narratives and their pressure to support them even when they do nothing for us. I'm sorry, that's where I stand on Democrats right now. I'm done with presidential elections where I'm like, yeah, I really don't like that candidate at all, but I guess I got to vote for this person because the other guy is worse. No, I'm done with that. Okay, either give the voters something to actually feel inspired about, something to vote for, or get out of the race.
Yeah, I was in a debate recently where someone challenged me on Anna's opinion on that. And they're like, now she's saying that she won't just even vote mindlessly for any Democrat that the donors pick.
Correct, I am now registered as an independent. The Democratic Party I find deeply, deeply embarrassing.
So
I do not want to be referred to as a Democrat. I find them so embarrassing.
Okay, so listen, the problem is that the Democratic Party used to be the party of the working class.
Not anymore.
FDR, JFK, LBJ, etc. And that's the Democratic Party we all love and want to go back to. That's when we were successful. We got the best bills passed. We worked for the American people. We grew the largest middle class the world has ever seen. We were both moral and intelligent and effective. And we got all those things done. Go back and read FDR's speeches. He was vicious to the Republicans. He was not at all civil. So the idea that you should just be quiet and accept what the donors tell you. FDR said, I welcome their hatred. Can you imagine if anybody said that today?
It's about time that all of these goons lose their races and come to the realization that they've got to do more for voters than disrespect them, fearmonger to them, pressure them to support them even though they're doing nothing for them, okay? It's about time that they realize, oh, as Democrats, it turns out that we actually have to legislate and fight on behalf of our constituents. Otherwise, we're not gonna win our elections. Oh, it turns out that we need to be honest with our constituents and not provide cover for 81-year-old presidential candidates who are gonna lose the election to someone that should be easy to beat, who should be a layup, okay, in terms of beating. It's pathetic. At some point, I mean, I know the vast majority of viewers are Democrats. I get it. I was a lifelong Democrat too, at least from when I was able to vote. But aren't you tired of being disrespected? That's what I want to know. I'm tired of being disrespected and lied to.
Yeah, and last thing I'll say on this is, whenever you say, I would like better Democrats, I would like FDR Democrats, I would like Democrats who fight for us. They say, oh, so you're in favor of Trump.
Okay, if Trump is that, are you making the case that that's who Trump is?
No. They're making the case that if you don't bow your head and obey the donors, then you're helping Trump. No, brother.
No, you're helping Trump.
You're helping Trump.
Yep.
Now it's proven definitively. At this point, the establishment, despite what Adam Smith is complaining about, is coming back around to, I guess it's Joe Biden. They wanted Joe Biden back in 2020. They wanted him for the whole year of this lead up to this campaign. And now they're tenuously sticking with Joe Biden. And you're to obey orders. We're to have the worst possible candidate that 8 out of 10 Americans think that he is not mentally well enough to be president. 8 out of 10. But you must have him because the elites want him. And now Joe Biden says, I used to have all the elites. Now I only have half the elites on my side. Oh, I'm against the elites. And then he says it on Morning Joe, the epicenter of the elites, right? So this is the farce that they want you to support. And then they say, if you want anything better from the Democratic Party, you're a Republican. No, brother, I want to beat the Republicans. I want the Democrats to actually be Democrats instead of being basically warmed over Republicans doing the donors' bidding. But you won't get any of that message through mainstream media because they'll lie to you 24/7 and pretend that the real Democrats are the radicals and the progressives who want to help Republicans, and the corporate goons that work strictly for the donors are the real Democrats. No, they're not. They're frauds and they're totally corrupt. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.